So this week's tactical tip is going to be the trigger finger discipline. So in this, especially with these smaller concealed carry pistols, dudes with big hands like you, like I got little freaking hands, so not as big of a deal, but when I wear gloves, it becomes a bigger deal. But what happens is we want to come here and have good trigger finger discipline. So a lot of times on these smaller pistols, right, and we practice with our full-size guns a lot of times when we come out to the range and we want to shoot fast, we're using our full-size guns, but then those aren't the guns we're actually carrying for concealed. So one of the main problems we find is people being able to get that good trigger squeeze coming off of the muzzle discipline or the trigger finger discipline, right? So they have a hard time quickly finding the trigger and getting inside that trigger guard. So the bad habit that people develop is that they overcompensate for that, or they compensate for that for constantly moving with their finger in the trigger well, right, inside that trigger guard, so they can have their finger on the trigger because it's hard for them to get it in there. So what we can do here is, instead of locking the joints and putting my finger down the side of the slide, what I'll do is I set my finger where it's bent. And I can take my nail or the tip of my finger and put it on the edge, either here. I do this on my rifle, right? I do this on my pistol. So I can put it right here on the edge, and now my finger is bent, and now it just pops in like this. Does that make sense? So as I'm here, I'm not going from a locked joint and then trying to retract and pull this back. You can see how that's uncomfortable here. I already start here, and now all this does when I'm ready to shoot, it just pops in and it's very quick. But that way I'm here, I go to move, I take a peek. Okay, while I'm moving, my finger's off the trigger. I come here, I find that target, and then from here it just slides in, and there's my trigger squeeze. I go to move, it sets like this. Okay, I come in, I slide in, right? I'm here, I see a target, it just pops in, and it's right there. It's almost, if you're on the wrong angle, it may even look like I'm moving with my finger on the trigger, but I'm actually not. It's just sitting right here, and then if you see this, it just pops right like that. I'm ready to go. So one little trick you guys can try, so that way we're not moving through this with our finger on the trigger running into an accident, but it's still quicker than locking those joints out like that. Cool? Now if I'm running or something like that, and I'm really like working it and changing body positions and stuff like that, and I'm not ready to shoot, right? Then I can lock that joint out and get better structure on the side of the gun, right? But if I'm here and I'm like, I'm moving, but I'm halfway anticipating that I may have to shoot, then I can set that finger, but still keep the trigger safety discipline. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool, let's give that a shot.